are the only folks keeping the barbarians from the gate.
I got into the labor movement not because I wanted to negotiate wages. I got into the labor movement because I saw it as a vehicle to do massive social change to improve the lots of people.
Let's take these son of a out and give America back to America where we belong. Thank you very much. Thank you.
As far as I'm concerned, the Tea Party can go straight to hell. I am a real American. Fight for the rights of every man. I am a real American. Fight for what's right. Fight for your life.
No longer a barbarian standing at the gate, sitting behind this microphone at the Patriot Voice Radio Network. It feels good. On this Thursday morning, I'm Brian Summerfield, he's Trucker Randy, and we are your defending fathers.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Got another gorgeous day here in northern Michigan.
We're going to have to start working for the Chamber of Commerce and getting some commission on this or something.
Yeah, for sure. It's 82, sunny, high pressure system, looks like for almost through the weekend, so should be a good weekend as well.
Well, something happened with one of my vehicles. Probably about 4 or 5 days ago. And my driver's side window, I've got one car that I have is a little bit older. I don't want to say it's that old because it's an 86. You know, that doesn't seem like that far away, but it is considered an antique now. So
right,
I've got an antique car, even though I really don't consider it an antique. I consider it an old car to be like 71 or 72 or older. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I don't.
55 Chevy is an antique.
That's an antique. You know, right. An 86? No, that's not an antique. I was just out of high school.
Right. That's a well-maintained vehicle.
Yeah. So I've got an 86. It's a Mustang convertible. It's not like it's a classic car or anything. It's just I drive it around. Well, the other day, the driver's side window just all of a sudden quit working. It quit working when it was almost all the way down.
Uh-oh.
So I've got this window that is sitting there that's opened all the time now, and I've been fortunate. We really have not had any rain since that happened.
Right. Is it a crank or electric window?
Oh, it's an electric window. It is, with leather interior.
Your little motor's gone in the window there.
So I need to, at some point in time, go, okay, I need to take it into the shop and have them fix it and get it going again. So,
well, you have a son, don't you?
Yeah.
Well, that's what you made him for. You get him out there and tear that door panel apart and take that motor out and replace it and teach him how to work on the vehicle.
Yeah, the problem with that is if there's 15 pieces in the door, when he's done, there'll probably be 5 pieces left over. It's like, I don't know where these went. We really don't need them anyways. It all went together and it looks good.
It works, Dad.
Driving down the road and go ahead and take it, you're taking a turn, then all of a sudden your door's out there in the middle of the intersection. You're going, I think I know what one of those pieces was for.
Yeah, exactly. It reminds me when we lived on the St. Clair River between Lake St. Clair and Port Huron. Had a 32-foot Carver flybridge that had twin 350 Chevy engines in the boat. And you pull the hatch and you look down in there, and it's small. I mean, a little 12-year-old person can barely get down there to move around. So I enlisted my son to get down there and help me change the oil on the boat. And needless to say, that did not turn out well. So I can understand your hesitancy to have Blaze help you on the window.
One time I must have been about 8th grade, and we were down in Florida, and my dad was checking the engine oil and everything. I said, "Oh, it looks like it's a quart low. Put a quart of oil in." Well, I'd never put oil in before, but so I pulled out one of the dipsticks and said, well, I can't figure out where this goes. I'll just put it through where the dipstick is. So
right.
Well, we get about Georgia, and all of a sudden the car just isn't, the van isn't operating quite the way that it should. Pulled over a side of the road, and so, we're all packed up, went to Florida, and all the families in the car. And as my dad popped open the hood and said, where exactly did you put the oil? And I think I put it in the transmission.
Yeah. Yeah,
Or,
that
I'm sorry.
transmission.
Yeah, it was the transmission.
Yeah, the
So-
transmission filler neck is a little bit bigger than the oil dipstick, so you thought that was the place to pour it in.
It went in really easy.
Oh, you betcha.
So we were stuck by the side of the road for a couple hours until that situation got remedied. But you know, never, always trust a certified mechanic. And of course, if they're union on top of that, that means that they're professional.
Oh, yeah,
based on the
that's for sure. Yeah.
government's definition of profession.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah, don't get me started this early on some union news. I got some stuff happening anyway that I wanted to talk about later. So
I'm only going to bring up one fun fact, only because it's one of those things that you don't really think about. But yesterday was the slowest news sports day of the year.
Yeah.
There is not one professional game that's played in the United States.
Yeah, baseball was off from the All-Star break.
And it's kind of funny. It's just one of those things that happens every year, and it's like, oh, they needed to create an event, so they created the ESPYs.
The what?
The ESPYs, an ESPN award.
Oh, the awards.
Yeah, and so that's why that was created, because it was the slowest news day for all the sports in the country. And I'm surprised. There is one other professional sport going on in the United States right now.
What's that?
And their commissioner should just be fired for not thinking of this.
I don't know.
Major
what you're
League
talking about.
Soccer, MLS, is actually their season's going on right now. You would think that they would have like MLS Day on this day after the All-Star game and just say, guess what? We're going to have games all over the place.
Yeah.
Every single one of their highlights would be on the news, and it would be newsworthy because at least it'd be something to talk about and active. And I would think that would be such a boom for their sport that all that free publicity for them. But
really, because I thought their season was over already.
No, I believe they're going right now. This should be the heart of their season.
Unbelievable.
You've never gone to a Chicago Fire game or an LA Galaxy game and watched Beckham Bendham out there and at the Home Depot Center?
No, I don't get into soccer.
Neither have I.
Never got into that mode. My grandkids are all into it, but
until they reach 13. Isn't that how it works? We've been told that you just do not understand the world because soccer, football, is the real sport of the world, and
right.
We're going to make sure that every little kid knows soccer so they can be a world citizen and they will learn sportsmanship, and bunch ball is okay as all the kids bunch around one little ball and go up and down the field as young little creatures. And then we're going to teach them the metric system, and that way they can travel the world and know that they are really a citizen of the world. And it just doesn't happen, either one. They try to push both of them down our throats, and it just doesn't work in the United States.
It sounds like you're talking about us being globalists.
When I hear people try to push soccer on us, that's really what it has a niche market. And tell you the truth, I enjoy watching soccer and playing soccer from time to time, but it's not my favorite. But I will when the Olympics come around or the World Cup. Mm-hmm. It's pretty exciting, except for those darn vuvulas that they sit there and want to blow in some stadiums that have, some of them have outlawed them, that little plastic horn that's just obnoxious.
The Ricola horn.
Yeah. It basically is what it is, a shorter version of it.
Right.
So, I guess that's one of those things that just kind of happens, that certain sports come along. I mean, tell me you weren't into the first Olympic gold match that the U.S. women were in for soccer a few years ago. Was that '84 in Los Angeles?
Is that when the girl pulled her shirt off?
Yeah, Brandi Chastain.
Yeah, that
Mia
part
Hamm
I remember.
And Julie Foudy and all those from that group. See, that was a pretty good group.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
I believe that was the '84 Olympic Games.
Yep.
Might have to look that up real quick, but boy, this first segment, I looked up and I'm past my break. I blew right by it. How did that happen?
I didn't mention it to you. I think I need to make sure I keep an eye on the clock while you're talking.
Yeah, I'll keep a better eye on it.
All right, buddy.
I'll do my job better. I hope this doesn't get reflected in my performance evaluation at the end of the week.
Or
I
your
was going to
paycheck.
ask for a raise.
Yeah.
I'm Brian Summerfield. He is Trucker Randy, and we are your defending fathers.
Hi, it's Brian Summerfield here, and I've known Clayton Brown and the gang at Johann's for years. Johann's Pastry Shop started in 1958, and in the tradition of all the old bakeries, they get up early and work on a bench to hand make all of your favorites. For me, nothing beats a J-bun or custard-filled Long John. Now I'm here to make a pretty big announcement. Johann's just opened a new location at 327 Bridge Street in downtown Charlevoix, right across from the park. They're open 7 days a week all year. Yes, the rumors were true. Finally, Johann's is in Charlevoix. Spring is here and most people cannot wait to get started on their outside projects. You understand what it takes to get a good, healthy-looking lawn or garden? Your retirement planning takes the same type of approach. Has your retirement garden been neglected and needs to be weeded? Are areas overgrown and need trimming? If you have a neglected retirement plan or one sitting at an old employer, I can help. My name is Brian Summerfield, and I'd love to help you with your retirement gardening chores. Let me take some of the guesswork and frustration out of that critical area of your life.
Brian Summerfield is a financial advisor registered with Genworth Financial Securities Corp. Member FINRA/SIP. Office located at 610 West Sheridan Street, Suite 5, Petoskey, Michigan, 49770. Give Brian a call at 231-348-2758 or find the tax-savvy wealth manager on the web at briansummerfield.com.
Brian Summerfield reminds you, only you can prevent forest fires. Brian Summerfield likes Randy's Mighty Good Pizza.
Hey, it's Brian Summerfield, pizza connoisseur, and I will go anywhere for good pizza. Right here in our own backyard, Randy's Mighty Good Pizza is the very best pizza you could eat. They use the best ingredients, whether it's a pan pizza or round pizza, the best calzone around. If you want quality, you want the best, Randy's Mighty Good Pizza.
Randy's Mighty Good Pizza on West Conway Road, just off the Harbor Petoskey Road. Call 231-348-6900 or randysmightygood.com.
I seen your picture, your name in lights above it. This is your big debut. It's like a dream come true.
A new tune for Trucker Randy to groove to on this Thursday morning. Brian Summerfield. Trucker Randy, we're your defending fathers.
Yeah, Brian, I made sure I left my microphone unmuted when I was singing along with that one this morning. That's a good tune.
One of my favorites of all time in that genre.
Yeah.
Steely Dan.
I got something that caught my eye this morning. I wanted to start off talking a little bit this morning about school districts.
Okay, well, let me just clear up one thing real quick before you get into school districts.
Okay.
Brandi Chastain stripped off her shirt when the team won the 1999 World Cup.
99?
I know, it seems like it's longer than that, but that's what, I just did a quick search on it, and that's what it said.
Man,
99.
we were off by 15 years?
Time flies when you're having fun. Like I said, that 86 Mustang really isn't an antique.
Seems just like yesterday you bought that one new. Oh, man, that's funny.
Ouch.
Oh, my God. 1999.
Yep.
Well, let's see. Yeah, I guess it was just that not too long
14
ago.
years ago. It seems longer than that. Well, anyways, let's get back to school districts, important stuff.
Well, I got a email every morning on different news agencies' news alerts, and the one I get every morning is from Michigan Mackinac Center for Public Policy. It's Michigan Capital Confidential. If people don't get this, it's a real good news source from folks in Midland, right here in the state of Michigan. And they put out an article that says that there's going to be some teacher layoffs that come this fall. That there's going to be the possibility of 3 school districts in our state that are not going to be able to pay their teachers. And it's not because it's lack of money. And I'm like, what? If you're going to lay off teachers, you're laying them off because you can't pay them. Why is it because it's not a lack of cash? That one just didn't make sense. So I get into this article, and Highland Park, Muskegon Heights, and the Detroit Public Schools. Now check this out, Brian. What is our ambient per pupil reimbursement up north here? What are our kids getting?
I believe right around $7,000.
Yeah. Well, in the years, just 2 years ago, 2010, 2011, well, that would have been a year ago school-wise, budget-wise, Highland Park spent $19,634 per student on their operating expenses. Detroit spent $15,884, and Muskegon Heights $15,135. By comparison, the lowest school district in the state, the Bendel School District, spends $6,331. So, bottom line is that because of teacher unions and benefits and retirement plans, and them paying for Medicare Plan B supplements, they cover all of the retirees' prescriptions, their eyeglasses, their dental care. They even get reimbursement for chiropractic and massage therapies.
Yeah, you get. We talked about that a couple weeks ago. I think it's 32 massages a year they get, almost one a week. It's reimbursable.
Yep. And bottom line is that these districts actually may end up. Detroit, of course, is already there, dealing with an emergency financial manager. But these other two municipalities, Muskegon Heights and Highland Park, look like they're not far away from being dealt with an emergency financial manager who's actually, in those two districts, they're talking about turning the school districts into charter schools and having private companies run the charter schools and eliminate public schools altogether. So I'm sitting here looking at this and I'm going, how can they be spending this kind of money? They're that overrun in going beyond their budgets and spending almost $20,000 a student in Highland Park. I just don't get it.
Well, that's been part of the problem as far as the war between the North and the South in the state, is there have been these fund inequities as far as funding for schools for a long time. You look at tax bases and the amount of taxes that we pay in northern Michigan thinking that, that's going to our local school district. No, it goes into the big pool, and then it gets split out, and typically you're looking at your downstate schools, especially in the Detroit school district, that are not performing nearly as well as other schools, yet they're being rewarded with a lot more money, sometimes twice as much money as what we're getting and using for programs up here in northern Michigan. Mm-hmm. And it goes back to the old liberal adage, well, if you want to fix a problem, just throw money at it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's just amazing to me that they're throwing money in these particular school districts where their spending is so out of control and disproportional to other school districts across the state. I mean, how is it that we can do things that much more economically prudent up here in northern Michigan, and it seems like it's right down in that Wayne County area and a little bit on there on the west side of the state in Muskegon area? How is it that they're able to get these spending things so out of control is just beyond me. I mean, I just don't understand how the citizens of those communities can allow these school boards to spend like this.
Well, you've got, we talked about it before. You've got Mesa, which is the best health insurance Blue Cross Blue Shield offers, that is owned and operated by the teachers union, the MEA,
mm-hmm.
and it covers. I've never seen insurance plan cover massages and chiropractic. I mean, 30 plus massages a year. To get a massage a week, your typical massage will run somewhere between $70 and $100 for an hour massage. That's covered.
Mm-hmm.
that is ordinary and necessary?
Well, my
care for
the lady that I go to, who's a sports injury massage specialist, because I have a bad knee and a bad shoulder. She says that she only needs to see me once a month. 12 times a year would be the maximum, because once she does that deep tissue massage and gets the knots and everything worked out of the muscles, your muscle actually has to repair itself. It actually has to repair from the massage. It's part of the therapeutic process. And she says if you do it more than once a month, you're actually hurting the muscles. And they're paying for how many? What'd you say, 32?
It's something. It's somewhere around 30. And again, if all of a sudden it's covered by insurance and it's zero copay, that sure sounds like a pretty nice thing to all of a sudden use. Now again, that's going to shove up the cost of the insurance. It's really an added benefit.
Yep.
And so, I'm going to use it. If I get 30 massages a year, why not? It's part of my compensation package. And, again, is that really what insurance is supposed to be used for, especially health insurance? And it's got the optical and the dental, and it's a not a Cadillac plan. It's a Bentley plan.
I was going to say Rolls Royce, for sure.
It's up there. And again, most of the time, chiropractic isn't covered by most insurances.
Yeah.
And that's either covered at 100% or like a $5 copay. So now all of a sudden you look at that cost that's thrown on the cost of education. And then the other day we mentioned that one of the school districts was complaining because it was starting to get towards the mid-20s, the match for the MEPSERVs is what the retirement plan is for the schools, the Michigan School Pension Plan or Fund. And so not only do you get paid your salary, but then the school district will go, okay, we're going to take 24% of it of what you make, and it's going towards your retirement. We're sending it to this fund. So you look at those two big expenditures that's far and away more than what you would get in the private sector.
Mm-hmm.
And what is the number one cost for school districts on an annual basis? It's teacher salaries. And compensation. And what is this total compensation on top of what they make salary-wise? I bet you it's close to 30 to 33% when you look at all the benefits that they get. So, you're wondering why those costs are going through the roof. And then when you look at what they're doing in the bigger areas of Detroit and parts of Grand Rapids, why the how come they're costing so much more? Maybe it costs more to bring people into those areas to teach. I'm not sure. But there's been a big contention between the North and the South for a long time on this inequity situation.
Well, yesterday you had started reading those 6 points by that one school principal.
we're gonna cover that maybe after the in the second hour. We'll treat that in the second hour and spend the whole hour on that.
Yeah, I definitely won't look forward to hearing the rest of what he had to write after the break next hour. That'd be great.
Yeah, we'll pick it up and we'll do that in total, and it'll take us a while to go through it. We'll have fun with it, but it was a principal's speech after he was hired at a new school and his expectations. I'm Brian Summerfield. He's Trucker Randy, and we're your defending fathers. Thursday. Let's turn this down a little bit. You kids and your loud music. I'm Brian Summerfield. He's Trucker Randy. We are your defending fathers.
Good morning, Brian.
Good morning.
Got a little breaking news story coming to us from Sterling Heights, Michigan. A Ford UAW worker is a brother patriot of ours, Brian Pannebecker. He is the spokesperson for the Michigan Freedom to Work Coalition that we've been involved in. And I understand, Brian, that Brian's called into the studio.
Yep, we're going to get him potted up here in just a second. Go ahead.
Yep. One of the things that's been happening is the UAW, the president, Bob King, announced that the UAW was going to put a ballot initiative on our November ballot to change our state's constitution to ban right to work from ever being introduced in our state. And Brian Pannebecker has been going around the state of Michigan representing Michigan Freedom to Work and speaking at public events. He's been under a lot of pressure there at his UAW plant, and he wanted to call in and talk to us about it this morning.
Hey, Brian, you're on the air with Trucker Randy and Brian Summerfield.
Hey, good morning, Randy. Thanks for letting me have a couple minutes on your program to speak to your listeners. Today, things are kind of coming to a head here where I work at the Ford plant, Sterling Heights. We're local 228, UAW local 228 down here. And I've been a conservative since I hired in at Ford Motor Company 16 years ago, and I remained a conservative in spite of the union's pressure to vote for liberal Democrats. They constantly encourage us to vote for liberal Democrats who are against virtually everything I believe in. And over the past 6 or 8 months, like you were just saying, I became a board member of the Michigan Freedom to Work organization, and I'm actually a spokesman for that group. I'm a very outspoken right to work supporter. And it's kind of coming to a head now. We're about 4 months away from that ballot initiative that'll be on the ballot more than likely in November 6th. And the pressure's really, really getting cranked up on me here at work by the union, which, ironically, they're supposed to be defending me and making sure that I'm treated fairly. And I'm actually being threatened by union thugs. I was threatened today. I was told that they're going to, apply pressure and try to get me in trouble. I had union officials coming down to my work area, talking to one of the guys that works in my area. He's kind of a big union thug supporter who's about a 300-pound guy. I won't mention his name on the air, but he's a relative, he claims, of Tony Provenzano, the guy from the New Jersey Teamsters, who was linked to the disappearance of Jimmy Hoffa. Now, this is what he says. I'm not, coming up with this information. He tells people this. He claims his dad was a member of the Detroit Mafia. He's about a 300-pound Italian guy, and he came over to me and threatened me today, just a matter of it within the last hour or two. So the pressure's really getting cranked up here at work, and it's going to be an interesting 4 months till we get to the November election.
Well, Brian, for our listeners that are listening in this morning, tell people just real quickly exactly what your job description is and exactly what do you do for Ford there in Sterling Heights.
Yeah, I'm an hourly production worker. I work on a final assembly line. We're an axle plant that builds mainly rear ends. Our main product is the F-150 truck rear end.
Okay, so I've seen pictures of you at your workstation. It looks like you have, eyeglasses on with earmuffs and gloves, and you're looking like you're operating some kind of big press thing, lifting operation of the rear end itself.
That's correct. It's actually a hoist. It's a pneumatic hoist that I lift the F-150 rear ends up with. And Randy, it's pretty funny that you mentioned that those pictures. Those two pictures that appeared on a recent CNN interview, CNN came out here to the plant to interview me about my political views, and it appeared on July 5th, the day after the 4th of July, on CNN.
Yes, I saw it.
Those two pictures, Randy, those two still photos in there, were taken by a coworker of mine, of me, at my job. And today, a union thug came down to my workplace and started questioning people around me to find out who had taken those pictures, because I was told Bob King, the president of the UAW, wants to know. So that's how big a wave this right-to-work effort is making here in the Detroit area. They're putting that kind of pressure on people who have the nerve to speak up with an opposing point of political view that opposes their orthodoxy that they try and impose on all of their members.
Well, this effort, Brian, that we're involved in is not just here in Michigan, but as you know, is having a ripple effect across the country. I mean, where you have been on CNN on July 5th, there played like 3 or 4 times that day on that segment. The story goes even deeper, where Terry Bowman, another spokesman that was with our group for Union Conservatives, went and testified in front of Congress a couple months ago.
Absolutely, in front of Darrell Iss's House Reform Committee.
Right. No, this is a big coalition we've put together. We've got folks from all across the state with over 180-some leaders actively leading this effort. Yep. One of the points that you think this could be a situation where, I mean, that rear end weighs quite a bit. I mean, I know I worked on Dodge Truck Line putting the steel I-frames together and shipping those down the line with those hoists you're working with. I know exactly where
you're talking about, Randy. Where you worked is about 5 miles down the road from where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I was at 9 and Mound. So, how much does that rear end weigh, and what would happen if this thug comes over there and happens to drop a rear end on you?
Yeah, I could, every day in here, there's plenty of opportunities for me to be severely injured, and the kind of pressure I'm getting right now, the threats, the veiled threats, the insinuations, the next 4 months are going to be very dangerous, and the ironic thing here, and your listeners need to know, is the UAW, I don't have any choice. I have to belong to the UAW. I have to pay dues to them. I do not have a choice under Michigan's closed shop laws. They take money from my check every month, and then they donate some of that to political causes and candidates that I don't agree with.
Some?
A lot. and that's 99% of unions' political contributions are given to liberal Democrats, even though 35 or 40% of their members are conservative and vote Republican, like myself. So if you have the nerve, and there's a lot of guys in here who are conservative and they vote Republican, but they don't talk about it because they know the union will come down on them and make it hard for them. Well, I believe in speaking up for what I believe in and standing up for what I think is right, and I am outspoken about my political views, and I have no problem letting people know that I belong to the Michigan Freedom to Work organization and that I believe right to work would be good for the economy of Michigan. It would bring jobs to the entire state, and rather than just protecting a few union members. There's only 17% of the workers in the state of Michigan belong to a union. 83% of the workers do not belong to unions. So I'm concerned about those 83% benefiting all the workers of our state, not just the select few who have high pay and high benefit packages. I would like to see everybody have an opportunity to have a job rather than just protecting a select few.
Let me ask you this, Brian, because I know you're on a break and you probably have to get some fluids in your body before you go back at 10 o'clock. But real quick, how many other workers there in your immediate work area are aware of what's going on? Have you shared these threats with other coworkers so you have it all documented?
Good question, Randy. I write letters to the editor fairly frequently. That's part of my job as spokesman for Michigan Freedom to Work. And when they appear in the paper, what will happen here at work is the people I work with that do not agree with me will cut it out of the paper. They tape it onto a blank sheet of white paper and run copies, and I'm talking dozens and dozens of copies of it. And then they post it around the plant, and on the white plain paper margin alongside the article, they'll write derogatory, name calling, different slurs and different things about me, calling me a hypocrite and a liar, and telling me I should quit my job and leave Ford. So that goes on a regular basis. So pretty much everybody in my work area is well aware of my political views. Some of the guys give me a wink and a nod and a thumbs up, and they quietly support me, but they don't speak up like I do. They don't want to take the kind of heat and the abuse, the verbal abuse that I get, and possibly put their jobs in jeopardy, because if the union wants to, and I was told this yesterday by my union representative, he told me he is not going to represent me the way he represents the other workers in here, because I've chosen to become an outspoken supporter of right to work. Well, he's obligated, whether he knows this or not, he's obligated to treat everybody and represent everybody equally that pays dues. And I do pay my dues, and I go occasionally to the union meetings to see what's going on. I'm a dues-paying member. He's obligated by law.
Yeah, that was a veiled threat. He can't isolate you out from an entire union contract. That was just stupid.
Yep, it was very stupid on his part, but it's all documented, Randy, like you asked. I do document these things, and I've got pictures of the stuff that's posted all around the plant. By my work area, they put it up by the bathroom I use, they put it up on the walls in my department, and people add comments onto it. This is the way the union treats somebody who does not agree with their liberal philosophy. And there's an incestuous relationship there, Randy. You know about it. The unions take care of the Democrat Party and the liberal Democrat candidates, and then the liberal Democrat office holders take care of the unions. It's an incestuous relationship, and it's got to be broken.
Absolutely. One thing that I just got a chat comment from somebody else listening online is they asked if you would have the ability to set up a digital video camera of your workstation where you could perhaps videotape some of these guys coming and talking to you while you're working.
I probably could do that. I haven't. I was threatened by the one union official that came down today that was snooping around asking who had taken those pictures of me that were on CNN, and he came over to me afterwards and said, "You're not allowed to take pictures down here, and if we catch you taking pictures, you're going to be in trouble." Now remember this. This is the union. This isn't management. These are not my supervisors I'm talking about. These are the union officials that are sworn and paid to represent and protect me. And they're threatening me because I have a different political view than the union leadership, the union bosses, want me to have.
Mm-hmm. Well, the thing of it is for your own protection, and I even told Terry Bowman that he needed to buy a remote start for his vehicle.
Yeah, it's almost come to that. Randy, I've got a Romney bumper sticker, if you can believe this. People think I'm crazy. I've got a Romney bumper sticker on my vehicle, and every day when I walk out to it in the parking lot here, I half expect to see about my rear window broken and find a brick on the inside of my vehicle. That's how how violent the union guys are.
Yeah, well, you're definitely going to end up probably needing a paint job from them keying your truck there later this year.
Twice.
Yep. Hey, one quick question, because I know you got to leave shortly, and I want you to be able to get some drink before you go back to work.
Sure.
What do you think management is going to do if you were to go to them and explain to them these threats that you're getting? What position do you think management would take?
Well, I'll find out today, Randy, because I've already decided. I've held off on doing this until now, but it's gotten so intense in here. The pressure from the union supporters has gotten so intense. I'm going to have to go up front and speak to our labor relations manager. I haven't done this yet, but today is the day. I'm going to go up there on my lunch break and speak to them, make them aware of what's going on. Now these guys are starting to threaten my livelihood. I was told today by this gentleman I told you about, he claims his dad was a cousin of Tony Provenzano, who was involved in Jimmy Hoffa's disappearance. That now this is fact. I'm going to tell you this on the radio. I know I'm being recorded. He told me that he said they, and I assume he meant the union guys and him. He's kind of a spokesman for the union, even though he's not currently in an elected or appointed position. He told me they have somebody from IT here at the plant, going through the computers to see if I've been using them for private business on company time. So that is a plain, blatant threat that they're going to try to get me in trouble, get me fired. Now, remember, these are union guys. This isn't management we're talking about. This is the organization I pay dues to protect me from being treated unfairly, and they're threatening me, threatening my livelihood. You know, I've got 2 boys. I got a kid in college. I got a house payment. You know, I've got bills that I need to be concerned about. So these guys are really playing hardball, Randy, and I'm going to have to go up and take it up front to Labor Relations today.
Well, when you go up there, Brian, just remember the truth is the truth is the truth, and make sure you name names. Make sure you tell them exactly who's doing it, and tell them exactly what they referenced as far as who he's related to and the kind of threats he's making. Make it all documented so you're fully protected.
Randy, I know you're the same way. You're a patriot, and you believe in the power of the truth. And you have no fear, and I've seen you do this. You have no fear speaking to high elected officials, and when you stand toe-to-toe to them and tell them the truth, there's nothing they can do to hurt you because you're speaking the truth, and I've seen you do it too.
Yep, so I encourage you to do the same thing, Brian. Be strong, be smart, make sure you look over your back, but I definitely would advise you to get a remote start for your vehicle.
All right, well, thanks for that, Randy, and hey, thanks for having me on. I appreciate being able to speak to your listeners, and just let them know that this union-led ballot initiative that's going to be on the ballot November 6th has to be defeated, or if it's not, the unions will be running this entire state.
Absolutely. God bless you, Brian, for your courage and doing what's right, and may God protect you.
Hey, thanks, Randy, and I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Okay, brother. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
That was Brian Pannebecker. He's at the rear axle plant in Sterling Heights, Michigan. It's, I believe, down near 16 Mile Road in Van Dyke. That plant runs all the way over to Mound Road. It's a 1 square mile plant. And like he said, it was only about 6-7 miles away from Dodge Truck, where I worked my senior year in high school. And things are heating up, Brian. It's unfortunately, I think it's going to get pretty ugly for Brian Pannebecker down there in Sterling Heights,
and probably a lot of other people down there that are faced with the same situation.
Well, Terry Bowman, who is the president and founder of Union Conservatives, he was part of our Michigan Freedom Work Coalition when we first started it. As a matter of fact, he's still a board member on our corporate charter that we set up with the state. And he chose, after some threats that he received, to step away from being our spokesman and basically just continue on with Union Conservatives because he was getting the same kind of pressure and threats that Brian was getting at the Ford plant in Ypsilanti. And Brian Pannebecker stepped up to be the spokesman when Terry stepped down. And things are going to get rough down there, but him going to labor relations up in the management office of Ford, that puts them on constructive notice. That's going to make them now liable, responsible for Brian's safety in the plant. I don't know, once he leaves that parking lot and drives out onto Van Dyke, he's on his own, but at least while he's in that plant, Ford Motor Company is going to now be put on constructive notice today that they've got some responsibility to protect him.
At what point do the police get called in and reports taken?
Well, the police will tell you, because I know for my own 89th day that I was employed there at Dodge Truck, If I had gone to work the next day, the 90th day, I would have been officially off of probation and would have become a member of the UAW. Even though they took dues out that entire summer, I was going to be going to Michigan State in the fall. I had no intentions of becoming a member and staying on as a permanent employee. They took union dues out of my paycheck the entire summer. But the 89th day, I was threatened by a group of employees because I was doing quality control inspections. And these guys, I remember clear as day, came back from lunch, totally intoxicated. They had been drinking at lunch. And as I mentioned, I was working on the assembly line where we would literally start the beginning of the vehicle. You would have your two big steel I-beams, the left side and the right side, that got put into a jig. And they would then mount the engine mount across the two frames, and we would rivet those together with these big rivet guns. They look like a C-clamp. You'd pull the trigger, and it would mash with hydraulic pressure rivets to hold the steel frames together. And then 4 or 5 of us would pick up that steel frame with this hoist thing that Brian uses, and we would pick it up about 2 feet off the table, and then we would throw it. We literally would shove it down the line, and they would catch it and drop it down, and they would start putting the axles in and the wheels and things like that. They were mounting the shock holders, the little steel cups that hold the shock absorbers in place. They came back from lunch and they were intoxicated, and they were riveting those upside down, so that basically they were shortening the distance for the shock to go in. And I went back there and I told them, I said, "Hey guys, you're mounting these cups upside down for the shocks. You got to mount them this way and turn them the right side up." And they started swearing and cussing at me and telling me to mind my own business. Well, I started sending their defective work into the hole. I pulled it off the line and sent it to a repair area. And I walked over to the guys there and I said, "Hey, these guys are riveting these shock absorbers upside down. I'm sending every single one of these to the hole until they listen up and start doing their job the right way." And I literally sent, that we were running 60 trucks an hour. I sent 30 trucks. The first half hour they started doing this, I sent every single one of those to the hole. And the line started shutting down. There was no trucks coming. So as far as the eye could see, for a half hour worth of work, you start seeing UAW workers sitting on their stools with no trucks going down the line. And the foremans and the union people came running and got into my face and told me to send those trucks through anyway. And I said, "No, I'm not going to do it." And those drunk guys basically at the end of the shift shot at me in the parking lot. They pulled out a gun, and I heard the bang, and I heard a whistle go blowing by my head. I jumped in my 73 Chevy Vega hatchback.
Oh,
navy blue.
Oh, navy blue. I was going to guess forest green.
Nope, navy blue with black herringbone cloth seats. 8-track player. And I jumped in that car. I started it, and I squealed with that little 4-cylinder shift 5-speed. I pulled it out on the Mound Road and went to the corner, actually, and called the Warren police. And they said, quote, unquote, there was nothing they could do about it because it was on private property.
What?
It was the responsibility of Dodge Truck to police and enforce the situation.
So if there was a murder that took place, then I guess it's Dodge's responsibility to go in there and figure out and do the investigation to see who's guilty. If they've got a worker that gets raped in the parking lot, it's the private property, so it's the company's responsibility to take care of it. I mean,
well, that's what the Warren police told me when I called, and I obviously hadn't gotten killed, but they said I'd also have to get witnesses to verify that shots were made. And, of course, the next morning I went back to turn in my badge and to quit because I was heading off to Michigan State, and nobody heard a shot anywhere. That was, quote-unquote, the reports by the security guards and a lot of the workers they interviewed. Nobody heard anything. So
amazing.
Yeah, we'll talk about it after the break.
We will do that. I am Brian Summerfield. He is Trucker Randy, and we are your defending fathers.
This is the Patriot Voice Radio Network.